Good afternoon, everybody. We are back, the right side of campus. We are live. Oh, September 1st. Whoa, that caught up to me, Donnie. Wow, look at that. September 1st, 2017. It's a Football Friday, Donnie. We're tagging the hashtag Football Friday here on the late right side of campus. I'm all over the place today, Donnie. Words are twisting. Welcome in to everyone out there listening. It's Friday, and it's our first Football Friday of the season. We got football till God knows when. It'll be the middle of winter. It'll be snowing. The shore will be a distant memory. The beach will be a distant memory. Jet skis will be a distant memory. We won't even be worrying about baseball. It's football from here on out. Donnie Wright said, welcome in.
Yeah, man, before you know it, we'll be saying, Jeff, what a run it's been. Final game, Super Bowl on Sunday.
Yeah,
we kiss it goodbye to the next year because we always forget how fast football season actually goes, despite how technically long it is. So we're going to enjoy each and every week. We've been waiting a long time to get the football season and go full go with football. And it is hashtag Football Friday. A lot to get into, Jeff, not only in college football, obviously, that's going to take center stage, but tomorrow, I believe it's at 3 or 4 p.m. Eastern time, the cut list comes out for the NFL, and that's the official start of NFL season to me. Next week is game week in the NFL, a Thursday night football game, complete package of football in college football as well. A lot of fun to be had here, Jeff. No question about it, man.
Lot to do today here on the Football Friday. And we're going to hashtag that, Donnie, the rest of the season, Football Friday. That's what we're doing here. Donnie and I bringing it to you, the football people. Sorry for the late start. I had a little trouble with my computer here, Donnie. I had to do one of those old restarts. Haven't done one of those in a while. So I had to do a restart. And we're back, though. Lot to do. We'll go over the football. We'll go over all the games today. I know we've been talking about them all week. We'll discuss everything. Donnie, Florida A&M covered last night, the 47. Beautiful winner there. Toledo did not, so I break even on those FCS games. I had a good night last night, hit a premium play. Have another one today. Have them all week, Donnie. Up 3 units to start the season. I'm fucking pumped. I know you're doing baseball. We'll get into that as well. We'll go over a couple games like we did yesterday, kind of let you know about some things. I do have some good things on Dylan Peters going today for the Marlins. That'll be interesting. What's for lunch today? I have no idea. I haven't even gotten that far. I have shows today. I got one later at 3. Lot to do. I got to get time to eat. Great call on Memphis. Yeah, good for Drew. You would bring up. I mean, that's Drew Youngston. That's what he does. He only talks about the losers. He's a punk when it comes to that. He goes on Jimmy the Bag stuff and punks him. He's a punk. That's what he is. He's a little punk that waits for losers to talk about it. Drew, you were the same guy that jumped on Donnie right side because he bet underdogs and you were losing on favorites. You're a punk. He's a punk. Did you
Jeff, why don't we start with, I know we got a full baseball card today, obviously a short slate in NCAA football, but this is the first chance we're actually going to get to do a dive in from what happened yesterday and what we were talking about, because we've had all season, I should say more likely you have all season to jump the gun, get in week 1. And from looking at the card itself, Jeff, yesterday, pretty much what you were talking about happened. And that's, just getting your research done, just getting it in. I didn't think to myself a lot of surprise. I mean, you could say, hey, you wrote Rhode Island surprise, but I'm talking about the big games. You had the Oklahoma State game circled, blowout winner in that one. Talk about that a little bit as you got into it. What you looked in that game, what you thought was going to happen, and why you thought that line was soft right there.
Yeah, it was way too soft. I mean, that one should have been up into the 20s. We need to discuss and wonder why lines makers put that at 18. They see a Tulsa team that was without a quarterback that could throw the football downfield, and I think they were great. Like Dane Evans was still in there. I didn't really understand it. I know Oklahoma State's offense is the best in football. I put them up there with the offenses we've seen over the last couple of years. Trevon Boykin in that TCU offense. Some of the things Baylor was doing a couple years ago. There's just – the line just didn't make any sense. I think their defense does have some problems. I think, though, they're a little bit better, though, than they were last night. Overall, though, look, the game could have been closer than it was. I mean, I think Tulsa, they were lucky to get that fumble in the end zone. That probably should have never happened. I thought they had a lot more points than they maybe should have, but the line was soft. You're going to get those early on. And, I know there's some couple negative guys here, but let's talk about the shit we did call, and we'll go over the ones we didn't. Ohio State under 58 was looking good in the first half, wasn't it? But Ohio State crawls in the second half. Minnesota under comes in easily. Donnie, I told you, Arizona State, New Mexico State, I was skeptical to get involved with that total. Looked under there, didn't want to play with it. But again, I thought it'd be close. Just stay under. Those teams want to get back to defense and run the football a little bit more. These guys claim to be professionals. So when they take L's and trash a team like OSU, they need to be called out. I don't think we were trashing OSU. But again, Drew, we come on here, do free information. So again, thanks for listening. We appreciate it. I hope you enjoy the show today.
I mean, looking at that game overall, I mean, if I were a betting guy, wouldn't you have been on Ohio State in that game, though? I mean, I understand, you like the Indiana under angle, but the talent disparity is pretty clear between those two programs.
I was skeptical. I actually liked Indiana, to be honest. I thought they would hang in that game, and they did. They hung. They just, fell apart in the second half. Defense fell apart, but that's what Ohio State does. They're a good football team. They were rattled in the first half. They weren't playing well, and look, like a good team, they turned it up in the second half. It was a great call if you had Ohio State, so congrats if you had it. Look, Donnie, premium play hit. I'm happy with it.
Hey, by the way, Jeff, the other game, I mean, if we took a look at the yesterday as a whole, and you just said, forget about the Oklahoma State game, one game stuck out on the card for the entire offseason, and I'm not so sure if anybody was even on the opposite side. When the initial line comes out early in the season, and Chris opens it at minus 26.5 for Minnesota over Buffalo, I'd never heard one person say, oh, man, Minnesota is going to just absolutely lay the wood in that game. I didn't hear a single person, and good for the public and good for the Sharps. Opened at 26.5, crashed at 21.5. They damn near lost the football game as it played out over a while. But that was one of those where I think everybody circled and was dead on in that game from the jump, from the opening line.
Yeah, look, I mean, Minnesota needs to find a way to throw the football. And I don't know if they're going to have that all year. They have a new quarterback, a new team. Laying a number like that, it's hard to get involved with them there. I thought the play was in the total. I didn't think either defense would let us down last night. I disagree. I don't think Minnesota will be a bet against team. PJ Fleck's a very good coach. He'll figure that team out within the next year or two. I don't know if they'll compete this year. I don't know if they'll be a bet against. I'm not looking to bet against Fleck. He's not a guy long-term. I'm looking to do that.
The only thing I don't like about that program, Jeff, with Minnesota, I get PJ Fleck's a high-energy guy, rooted for him at Western Michigan. The row the boat thing going along with him is kind of corny to me. I mean, that was the thing you started up at Western Michigan, and you even said you were going to leave it there. And then I see the helmets where instead, the ski ma that they have on the back of the helmet, which is usually what their tradition is. And then I see the row the boat right down the middle of the helmet. I'm saying, come on, man. Can't you just leave that behind and get a fresh new start in the Big Ten? Do we have to row the boat everywhere?
He's he's one of those guys that
he's a motivational guy. I get
constantly, positive about everything, and he's that's what he is, motivational. It's a great way of talking about it. But yes, you should have retired that back at Kalamazoo and kind of left that there. That was a Western Michigan thing. It's not something I'd be doing up at Minnesota. They're a different football team. Look, they need to run the football. That's their thing, running the football. They need to, kind of develop that ground game and play defense. That's what they always do. I'm not going to say Minnesota's never been a high-level passing team. They're not going to be this year. And early on, I don't think they're going to have much at all from the passing game. Memphis, Monroe. Memphis had a big lead in this game. This was a weather game, a lot of wind and rain.
I didn't see that. Actually, that was one of the few games, Jeff, that never made it onto my TV or ESPN3 on that one. Yeah. So I didn't get a good look at that. But I did see early in the day people talking about weather. And then I saw a couple late tweets when I woke up saying, I can't believe that game ended up going over. Well, there you go.
Yeah, well, look, it went over. And look, if you had 61, I mean, you had a good number. I mean, I don't know a lot of people that bet that. A lot of people bet on this one before they should have. And they probably got 67 or something like that, 66, and they pushed or lost. If you got 61, good for you. You followed and waited on the weather. And you know what was weird about this game, Donnie? Total crashed because of the weather, but the number went up. It didn't make a lot of sense. This closed 28, which didn't really matter because they only won by 8, so it wouldn't have mattered anyway. But it was odd that the total went down because of the weather, but I guess Sharps considered that this game they would still be able to have that vaunting passing attack. Look, this is the problem with Memphis. So, you live and you learn early on, and we learned with this one. Memphis just – look, it was a tough game. These hurricane games or these rain games, You never know what you're going to get.
And it's opening night. Yeah.
I'm not worried about Memphis. UM Monroe, I don't think they're overrated or underrated. They're a bad football team. Luckily, they got Memphis in a game where it was rainy and windy. So Memphis will be fine. I'll still bet against UM Monroe. A couple others here.
Jeff, by the way, get to this one game. 169-170 last night. First game off the bat. Central Florida, Mackenzie Milton looked fantastic in this one. Now, using this as a capping philosophy or maybe even a capping strategy, Jeff, to me, I'm thinking similar situations right now with Florida International and Florida Atlantic. Any translation from that game, new head coach, new regime, we're excited, we're ready to go, we're playing a good football team. You get slaughtered on opening night. Do you think this has any little effect on that Navy FAU game night? Maybe that similar type situation? Because from all looks of it, it's really the same thing about to happen tonight. I mean, obviously, I don't know how it's going to turn out, but that scenario cooked into one. A lot of moving parts on one team. The other team's a really good football team.
Yeah, no, I mean, I could definitely see it. I don't know if they'll score 61 points.
No, I'm not talking about the actual score of the game or the blowout. I'm just talking about
the way it will go, yeah. No, you're definitely right. I mean, new coach. I think FIU's in one of the weirder spots of the weekend. I mean, literally every player on their team has some sort of off-the-field issue. I mean, all their skill position players have off-the-field problems. It's a question of, are their starting receivers, two receivers, going to even play in this game? Their quarterback has some issues. But, yeah, they're a mess. I don't know how you, from a capping standpoint, can bet Florida Atlantic. If they win and cover, they win and cover. But it's hard to situationally back a team like this right now. I don't know how you do it. As far as someone mentioning about Coach Kill and having seizures, I mean, he has epilepsy. I mean, what are you going to do? I mean, it's definitely you can't cure it.
You know, that point gets brought up there. I didn't understand from Jerry Kill's perspective there. I mean, he doesn't have anything to prove, and it's just a weird spot to put your football team in, your family, because, again, these are college kids, Jeff, 18 to 21, 22. You're in the heat of the battle. Hey, where's Coach at? Coach just went down with a seizure on the sideline. He's getting taken out of the game. Like, it was one of those instances where I know he loves football, and he's a damn good football coach. But sometimes for the betterment of the program, the betterment of your health and your family, sometimes you should just take that step back. I always thought that was a weird circumstance because at any time, like, he was going down like every other week on the sideline, it seemed like.
Yeah, I read an article at NJ.com they wrote on him, and, they asked him that exact question. Why are you still looking to do this? Supposedly he's been seizure free for a while. I guess he feels really good. Says it's the best he's felt in 12 years.
I hope so. Yeah.
Him and his wife talked about it. They're comfortable where he was, and he's ready. But yeah, it's definitely, that's a good word, bizarre. I mean, definitely is. I mean, it's a bizarre situation to put your football team in. I think, as far as, going forward, hopefully, knock on wood, he continues to feel good and he has no problems. But yeah, definitely an odd situation.
Maybe taking a step back. What is he, the offensive coordinator now?
Yeah, it's offensive coordinator.
So taking a step back, going to a lesser program, maybe the burden, you don't have to have all that. You say, hey, man, just worry about your offense. Don't worry about the entire program as it's stayed and how it is. So maybe it helps him out there. But again, I root for the guy. I don't have anything bad against him. It's just a really weird circumstance they put him in.
Sure. But yeah, Central Florida, really nice performance last night. That was impressive. They were they're hanging around. I mean, Florida International hung around in the first half, looked pretty good, had some big plays, but what a turn up from really the second quarter on. A couple of the added games last night were interesting, Donnie. Georgia State, I know you tweeted out about how they were christening a new football field. Everyone was all excited. And how about Treon Harris, Donnie, the old Florida quarterback?
They could use him this year, Florida.
The old Tennessee State Tigers come in and spring the upset as 15-point underdogs. They went out right by 7. A pathetic performance from Georgia State.
Now, they gave me, Jeff, they actually gave me a little bit of a head fake in that one because I saw the tweet come out like, damn, they're getting support because, Jeff, we watch a lot of lower-level football. There couldn't have been more than 50 people in the stands. It seemed like a Georgia State.
Yeah, that was surely a head fake
this year. So we go last night, say we're in our new stadium. Like, damn, they sold out, what used to be, where the Braves used to play. But then I see it, and it's almost like they just put like a ring around the field with a little bit of bleachers. I'm like, you got me over there.
Yeah, Jive, man, official pay-per-view numbers have been out. It went over, I think,
6.5, I think I saw, right? Yeah, over 6
million. So if your book hasn't paid you out, you might want to get in touch with them. But yeah, that's what they do. I mean, it takes a while to tabulate numbers. It doesn't just come right away. As far as that game, I would have bet my whole life savings that there was not a sellout last night in that game. Like, who the hell cares about Georgia State playing Tennessee State. I mean, I might go just because I like football and I'm from 5 minutes away.
They have a huge enrollment at Georgia State, don't they, though? Isn't that true at least?
Yeah, but dude, I would imagine it's probably pretty hot down there. It's a bad football team. Sellouts. I mean, that's like when you go to a Phillies game and they say that there's 30,000 people and there's like literally 10, and that seems like a lot. Toledo does not cover. This was a tough one for me, Donnie. They settled for a lot of field goals early on in this game. When you're laying 44.5, you can't settle for field goals. You need touchdowns. They end up winning easily, but do not cover the big number. Holy Cross, Donnie. They were a live dog last night. They were up 20-6. I end up losing, though. They blow the lead, and Connecticut escapes. This would have been a bad start to the season for UConn to lose to the Crusaders.
Jeff, name UConn's head coach for me, please. Name him.
Randy Edsall.
I mean, what are we doing at UConn? Come on.
What
are we doing up there, man?
He stinks. Jeez. It's amazing. It's amazing he continues to get jobs. He reminds me of like Mark Mangino. I mean, or like
his style just seems like it's early 90s dated. UConn was an upstart program, got a good season in or whatever, goes down to Maryland, gets his brains beat in, and UConn is already in the toilet, goes, damn, we'll bring back the Randy Edsall era. And who the hell wants that?
Listen, Donnie, I've bet competitively in college football for a long time. When he was at Maryland, I can't say I've seen a worse quarterback situation than when he was there. They were dreadful at quarterback. It was amazing. But yeah, I don't get it. I don't get how he keeps getting jobs. One other one, Donnie, and this one, look, if you got 22, shout out to you. North Dakota covers as 22-point underdogs. If you bet 20.5, you didn't cover. This was a pretty bad middle if you had it. Utah, a team that is under kind of a personnel change, new coach. North Dakota hung in this game, Donnie. They covered if you had the early number. And look, they're going to be good in the FCS. This is one team you want to look out for if you're betting FCS football. Donnie, let's go to today. First of all, before we get into Little Football Friday, a lot of trades last night. Oh, Donnie, one other thing I wanted to ask you.
Yeah.
Something I talked with Peter Loschek last night about, and I got to chat with Joe Duffy. I got to see if someone could get the tabulations here. Preseason football. Next year, going forward, I'm going to bet every under in preseason game 4.
Yeah.
It literally seems to hit every game. I mean, there were like 1 or 2 games where it didn't hit last night, but it's pretty amazing how many unders come in, and for good reason.
Yeah, like if you take a look on its whole, Jeff, like the week 4 of the preseason, these guys aren't going to be playing football within a week. They've had 3 snaps, it seems like, probably in practice getting them ready. You even had, what was the situation? Was it Buffalo's quarterback, the kid from Ball State? I believe the name is Keith Wenning from Ball State a couple years ago. Good quarterback in the MAC. Dude hasn't played football in like 2 years, hasn't been in camp, and they called him up like, look, first guy's hurt, Tyrod Taylor. We can't lose our second guy. We're not going to roll maybe, the third-string quarterback out there. Can you come in and play some football? Yeah, sure. I mean, that's week 4 of the preseason. That's what they charge you for in the NFL. That is just ridiculous. Just do away with week 4. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, I agree 100%. Couple trades last night in MLB. Justin Upton goes to the Angels. They're trying to make a little push.
Yeah, I like it. And Brandon Phillips.
Yep. Good point as well. I'd like to see them in the playoffs. Mike Trout.
You're right. You're right, though, Jeff. You want to talk about in the right direction. We say laugh at Pujols, and that offense just seems lacking where it disappears. You added 2 pretty good bats in that lineup with some pop, with some athletic ability. I like where they went last night. They got it for cheap.
And they're 1.5 games back. The Yankees are fading. They're 5-5 over the last 10. I'll tell you what. I mean, I've talked about it all year. Scioscia has done a fantastic job with this team. I mean, no rotation whatsoever, no ace, just a bunch of rejects, really. A bullpen that's had their ups and downs, but they've gotten through it. A lineup that is pretty good, and they've carried this team. Mike Trout was out, 45 games? Scioscia, if they get to the playoffs, he has to be manager of the year. I mean, I guess I can't really think of, if you have a Houston, you can't give them – I mean, they have a great team. This is how you win. This is managerial right here. I mean, what he's done, Donnie, is fantastic. I mean, he's been great this year as a manager.
No, we talk about it. I mean, yeah, he's been dealt a tough hand. And again, that's not the best lineup when they're even healthy. That's not even a great hitting lineup.
He's got to be the best manager in baseball, no? I mean,
I've always liked the old
overall,
school. I like the old school manager, man. You can have your start the 350-pound guy at the top of the lineup and bat your pitcher in the 4-hole cleanup. You can take those guys. Give me the old school managers that look at matchups, have some gut feel, and don't just play it by paint by numbers. Where, oh, wait a second, my closer is supposed to be in this situation. Let me bring him in. Absolutely, give me Mike Scioscia.
I think BMOC needs his own podcast. I agree. I would love 3 hours on the air every day. That'd be awesome.
Stop
Get
it.
some.
Less is more. Less is more, Jeff. Come on.
No, I hear you. I'm just saying that's always been my goal in this business, to have a podcast syndicated, some kind of radio show where callers can call in and we can go back and forth and I can yell at call. That's my dream. Always has been. Where are we going here? Justin Verlander, Donnie. How about Houston? They finally make a move. And look, I mean, listen, they had to do this. I mean, this was something that they should have did back at the deadline. They didn't do it. And he's eligible to pitch in the postseason with his new club by doing this clearly. It's a good move. How to do it. You can't go into the playoffs with the rotation they had. I don't know if this makes them I still don't think they're the world a Canada. I don't think they're a Dodgers. I think the Nationals are better than they are. This helps. Does it put them over the top? No. I
want to see when they get Correa back. I mean, once that lineup, I mean, they're as good as anything when they're healthy hitting wise. But you're right. When you boil it down to the playoffs, it's about pitching. It's about matchups. The Dodgers are going to have 10 arms in that bullpen that are designed just to get you out. And literally, Jeff, it seems like they run every guy out there with an ERA of less than 3 out of the bullpen. I can't, and again, Houston can't match up with that. I mean, you got Ken Giles is a really good closer. Maybe Davinsky comes in, but the Dodgers literally, Jeff, I mean, that's not even a joke. They can run 10 guys out of the bullpen that can put you away.
And here's the problem. I mean, the Nationals lineup is really good. Is it as good as them? No, but it's very good. Their pitching rotation is way better. Yeah. The Dodgers are better overall. I mean, there are 2 or 3 teams better than they are. I mean, Donnie, am I crazy to say that Arizona, their lineup is potent as fuck? They have a pretty damn good rotation too. Are they as good as Houston? No, but they're another team you got to throw in there now. There's some good baseball teams that are really much on the level of Houston. I mean, Houston's not way better than everyone else. And I don't know that this move, again, here's the problem with Verlander. Can he win away from home? And can he go into a new situation and win? That's the question. I don't know.
Yeah, I think they were looking at just obviously making it to the World Series. And that point, it gives you that veteran pitcher that you're not going to say, boy, when I put him out there, he really isn't used to this circumstance, or he's not a veteran guy. I like the move because really all you're looking for in the playoffs, just don't hurt me in the playoffs. Give me 6 innings, 2-3 earned runs, and we'll take it from there. I think they got that, but again, I don't think that's a move the needle. Like, damn, they got Verlander, they're ready to go now.
And here's the problem. I mean, unfortunately, fortunately for Houston, I don't know if there's anyone as good as them in the AL. The NL, if they were in the NL, I could see them not making the World Series. But luckily,
you're right. You're right. Completely different ball game. You're right.
They're better than Boston. Their lineup's better. Mm-hmm. I don't know that Chris Sale's nice, but what do you have other than him? Do you trust David Price long term? Cleveland, I mean, they're as inconsistent as fuck. They're a wild card, I think. I mean, I could see Cleveland. Their rotation is very good if they can all pitch well. Their lineup is good. Can we trust them to hit consistently, though, is the question. They're a good road team as well. I think Cleveland's the one team that if I'm going to bet against Houston, it would be Cleveland. But other than that, they definitely don't have a big there's no one in the AL that I go, I don't think they can. I don't think Houston will be. I don't think they're going to beat Houston. For me, it's Houston. They'll get to the World Series, I think, but can they get up over that NL team? I don't know.
Yeah, and the other watch I'm looking for, it seems like George Springer had 26 home runs through June and still hasn't got to the 30 mark, so maybe that leadoff power situation a little bit slipping, because what an advantage you would have had if you hit 50 bombs out of the leadoff spot. So we'll see if they pick it up going forward. But again, missing a Keycog and Correa hurts that team as well, being right in the middle of that lineup.
Yeah, D. Patrick saying he thinks Cleveland's better than Houston. I don't know about that. I mean, lineup-wise, they're not. Maybe rotate. It's about even. I would get Houston a little bit just over. But again, he's right. I mean, their bullpen's good. Cleveland's a lockdown bullpen. I mean, that could be a real difference. And they were there last year. Look what Molitor did with the Twins this year, with ultimately 2 turnaround from the position players and getting Noah from the front office. Dude,
trading everybody away.
Yeah. What do you know? They have Irvin Santana. They have Jose Barrios. Listen.
Yeah, but they traded everybody away too. They even threw the white flag up and are still playing well.
I don't think it's Molitor. Molitor's
Gardenhire always did a nice job up there in Minnesota.
Kluber, Bauer, for Carrasco, Salzer. Yeah, Bauer. You can't sell me on Bauer. I know he's pitched well lately over the last month or two, but
if you're looking at the playoffs in baseball, like if their team is right, that 1 through 9 in Houston, when they're hitting, they will demolish anybody starting pitching.
Sure,
but the fact is, in the playoffs, you get in that National League atmosphere, Jeff, where your pitcher has to bat, you lose a bat, the other bullpen is better than yours. That's where the advantage is going to come in.
And look, I mean, I don't want to see Bauer in the playoffs. I mean, you got to put your top flight guys up. I don't want to see Bauer. No way. You don't want to either, do you? I mean, come on, Bauer.
No, I mean, you're going to shorten the rotation up, and maybe one of those guys who's pitching well, you can throw him out there. But Bauer's one of those guys where if something goes wrong in the first 2 innings with somebody, you got to come in. He can come in and do a decent job. But again, you're not leaning on him for the playoffs. That's for sure.
Donnie, right side, baseball commences. Obviously, it does say play second fiddle, I think, at this point. But plenty of games today. One game that's interesting, I guess, I don't know how interesting it is. I guess it's just one thing that I've looked at. The Marlins won -155 against the Phillies. Dylan Peters making his major league debut. Now, Donnie, Dylan Peters has never pitched above Double-A. So I just want to put that out there. Keep in mind, though, kid throws mid-90 fastball, has a good curve, and he's their top five pitching prospect for this club. From what I understand, I think he had an injury of some sort. They wanted to get him up a little bit earlier with some of the pitching problems.
That's the reason why I believe he was like a 14th round pick, is because right out of college, he had to get constructive surgery, which is why he went lower. But his pedigree was there. You're right.
Yeah, and guys, feel free to send in any football questions. We'll get to football right after this. Go through that card once more and finish it up. But yeah, this is an interesting number. I mean, I know Pavetta's not a guy I'm looking to back, but I kind of like under or over here. No, I mean,
yeah, it's interesting because the hardest games for me to cap in baseball are when you have the higher rated pitchers coming up the first time around, because pitchers it doesn't matter if they can pitch. You know, that word is thrown out a little bit. It's a matter if they can throw. If they have a live arm with good stuff, sometimes through that rotation, Jeff, we see it a lot where they can get through to that 5th inning. Like, hey, look at this guy, comes up 1 hit through 5 innings, because the other team doesn't really have a book, hasn't seen him yet until they get around that rotation a couple times around the league. So one of those ones we look at, Jeff, you know what this exact same situation reminds me of? If you remember when Faria first came up with Tampa Bay, we're saying like, God damn, he's laying 165. He's never even been up here yet. There's probably something to that.
But Faria, from what I believe, is a top 20 prospect. Here's the problem with this game. He could be Parker Bridwell, who came up in the exact same situation, Double-A, never pitched in the high-level baseball. And Parker Bridwell has been fantastic. He's probably been their best starter. He could be him, or he could be Nick Turley, and completely have no business up here. And we've seen it time and time again. It's hard to handicap. It's just interesting with a team like the Marlins laying this kind of number. And, I think both teams won't have much trouble scoring. Donnie, what are you looking at today?
A couple games were a little bit to pique the interest. I know there's some early games going off. The 110 game is about to go, and you know me, Jeff. I mean, -242 at Chris, +215 split. I'm not really interested in that. And Detroit, I mean, good luck betting them the rest of the way. It's clear that, Miggy's going to get whenever this, this suspension process takes place. It's been damn near a week, and Miggy's still in the lineup. Once he's taken out of there, you lost a couple players already. You lost Verlander, one of those good locker room guys. They're just waving the white flag, trying to get through the rest of the year. Their manager's going to get fired at the end of the year, so it's going to be tough backing him. I don't know about a live dog or let me just take a flyer on a home team. I don't get that with Detroit, but if you're looking just in early game action, that, Boyd on the mound, we all see what he's capable of doing. I'm not laying that much on the road. But again, Detroit, one of those teams, again, we talk about, Jeff, September call-ups. It's now September the 1st. Whole different ball game there. Sometimes you might want to get on some first 5 action, because those last couple innings where people are just getting run out there, let's see you play left field. Let's see this guy pitching in a certain situation. Let's throw the young kid up there in the bottom of the 8th inning with runners on 2nd and 3rd just to see how he handles himself. That's going to be a big betting key coming forward here.
I'll tell you what, this lineup today for the Tigers doesn't look very good. Kinsler, Presley, Cabrera, Castellanos, Mikey Matuk, Navarro, McCann, Jacoby Jones, Jose Iglesias. I mean, Christ. I mean, if you want to get involved with that, good luck. Detroit Tigers are one of those maddening teams. If I was a fan of this team, I mean, they never have won anything. They make bad moves. Now they're selling. Their bullpen has been absolute trash for 5 years straight. They never fix it. Now they got to get a manager because Brad Ausmus is a failure. I would hate to be a fan of this team.
And by the way, Jeff, Kyle brings up a good point here. He makes a joke, who would win in a 40-foot race, me or Sabathia or Cologne? I want to bring up CC Sabathia. He's been lights out, and I give him credit versus the Boston Red Sox. If you're going to have a pitcher who struggles at times but says, you know what, against the biggest rival and the biggest need games, I'm going to dominate, there's something to be said about that. But the fact that somebody's trying to bunt on CC Sabathia because he has a bad knee or because he's older and can't move, and he says that's a Bush League move, what are we talking about here? That's like saying, Jeff, in a football game, look, man, I know your defense can't stop the run. We're going to pass all day on you because it's just not right. What is he talking about, Jeff? Come on, man.
That's yeah.
Did you see the quote yesterday from him or no?
Yeah, they're trying to take the weak road or whatever.
Yeah, Eduardo Nunez, speed guy. They don't have much power in that lineup. I'm going to use this to my advantage. I'm going to drop down a bunt. You end up throwing it away and making an error on the play, and then you're mad at Boston because they bunted on you, knowing that you're a heavier guy, an older guy with a bad leg, and that's not fair. Come on, man.
Well, look, this is baseball. They're trying to get on base.
Exactly. Yes.
Again, he's been very good. They got to do what they have to do. For me, I would say to him, I think it's kind of a respect thing. They don't think they can hit me, so they're going to try to do whatever they can to get on base. And look, this is him. It doesn't.
Even if you said, if you're a pitcher, Jeff, and it's a 1-0 ball game, you have a no hitter in the 8th inning. Somebody tries to drop down a bunt. Just the old schoolness of the game. Dude, come on, man. He's about to do something special. Own it. Get a base hit single. I would agree with you there. But in the first inning of a game, knowing that your pitcher can't really wobble around. It's like the John Lester thing. I'm not going to steal on John Lester because it's not fair.
This is the same thing of saying, it's him just basically saying, well, I'm out of shape, so how dare you try to shame me for that? I can't help it. I'm overweight. This is like these people that go to McDonald's, they eat every day, and then they sue the company because they're fat.
They got fat.
Yeah, look, it's a competition, dude. It's Red Sox, Yankees in a playoff race. Mm-hmm. I think Sabathia is lost. I don't know what – this is just who he is. If you don't want people to bunt on you and you don't want a bad knee, lose some fucking weight, man. If I don't want to bet, I don't like some of the things that go on with me. I got to try to lose some weight.
Jeff, it really came out of nowhere. When I saw the quote late, when somebody retweeted it, I tried to get into it saying damn, CC might, I didn't really watch the game. So CC must have had a no-no going through 6 or whatever it was. And to find out the second batter of the game bunted and he was upset with that really made me laugh on that.
He needs to fall the fuck back. At the end of the day, he's been very good against his team this year. Just play your game. And Nunez said it best. I don't care if he's mad or not. That's what it is. I have to compete. He has to figure it out. Play in or field the ball. I don't care. He's totally right.
Now, Jeff, one thing that happened yesterday on the baseball diamond with Sharps can now sit around the campfire, open up the 6-pack of beer, crack it open, maybe have a marshmallow or two on the fire and say, you know what? We did it, man. We got Gio Gonzalez yesterday. We were right all along. Even though we lost thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars, that one win yesterday was worth it. It was a game I actually had some action on, Jeff, the over 9. It wasn't so much a fate of Gio or his regression. I just like the way the two lineups situated in the hitter's ballpark. Almost got there. Had 7 runs through 5 innings. I needed to go over 9. Ended up hitting 9. Had a shot to hit it in the bottom of the 8th inning. But it didn't happen. But again, a push is way better than a loss. Still having a nice week in baseball overall, but just waiting. I wanted to see what was going to take place because we've been hearing about it. He's got to regress. So I guess technically, Jeff, they were right, even though they probably lost the last 10 games betting against Gio Gonzalez.
Right. Everybody, big dog has its day once in a while. And look, he finally imploded last night. So good for you. If you had that line just didn't make a lot of sense. Davies laying 140.
It completely line swung around, which segues into the next game I want to talk about, Jeff. Again, not a lot of exciting matchups here. The one that's going to be interesting also is the Cincinnati-Pittsburgh game with Castillo and Cole. 65% of the tickets backing the home team here with Pittsburgh. But that's a live arm kid with Castillo. Last time out in that same exact matchup, Jeff, I went money line with the Reds' first 5 innings. It actually ended up being a 0-0 game after 5 innings. And Pittsburgh actually won the full game 1-0, I believe, on a solo home run by Garrett Cole. So this is one of those games you might want to look a little bit under. 7.5 tells you everything you need to know about this one. But, Jeff, I beat the horse, and I'll continue to beat that horse. Pittsburgh can't hit.
No, they can. And, people like Castillo. I mean, he's got a lot of upside, throws hard, kind of reminds you of your Donald Ventura a little bit. Recipes to him, kind of throws hard. That Dominican kid. You're not going to have any argument from me here. And obviously people agree with you. This line's been bet down at 7.5. Cole's a guy I don't really ever want to think that he's going to get hit hard. I mean, he's a very solid pitcher, an all-star in years past. What else? There was one I was looking at. Oh, yeah. Buck Farmer's pitching today. Game 2 of that Cleveland Tiger game.
Hey, Jeff, how about Detroit's 2 starters today in the doubleheaders? You got a lot of confidence?
Buck Farmer and Boyd. Yeah, that's
oh, man.
Can you guys talk about Fordham Army? Yeah, we'll talk about it in 5
we're getting there. Yep, we will.
This game for me, I mean, we've seen a lot of doubleheader sweeps lately, Donnie. Yankees got swept in one. Phillies got swept in one yesterday. I wouldn't be surprised to see the Detroit Tigers get swept today in that series. I wish a book did that where you could kind of, will there be a sweep in this doubleheader, and offer like minus 115. I would take that.
Some other good ones out there, though, Jeff. Also, 921, 922. You got Skaggs and Hamels, battle of 2 lefties. And how many times do we see this again? Look at the reverse line movement. Chris opens up at minus 135 in the favor of Hamels, now down to a pick 'em.
Dude,
Pinnacle opened up a little bit lower, but, I mean, here we go again. Just that interesting type of movement back. And I know we saw, hey, Los Angeles pressing it in. Maybe Phillips plays tonight. Looks like I know Upton's going to play, but I think Phillips was questionable depending on what time he gets to the ballpark. But one would think the Angels are going to get that boost, but it's Hamels out there. You're getting him at home for a cheap price. Sharp or not sharp here, right?
No, if I had to play this one, I'd be all over the Angels. I think this is a great spot for them. Obviously, a shot in the arm. It's clear they're ready to compete. It's clear they're ready to make a push to the playoffs. Skaggs has pitched pretty well on the road. Cole Hamels.
Beltre out probably for the Rangers. Also, I saw he had a hamstring injury. Yeah.
Cole Hamels has not pitched well. He's been very inconsistent this year. I like the Angels here. I think this is a spot where, when these trades happen, for a team like the Tigers, they're a team you fade. For a team like the Angels, I mean, they've been pretty good against lefties this year for the most part. Only scoring about 4 runs a game, but Hamels is a guy that's hittable for sure towards the end of his career. Skaggs in 5 outings on the road, ERA under 3. I would take a shot with him. I like them in this spot. Though Cole, I mean, wouldn't surprise me if he throws a gem. That's what he does sometimes. But I like the Angels in this spot.
No, I think you're right on that. Again, another key cog in that lineup down. You have the one team getting that push. It's just always interesting. And again, when you look at, Cole Hamels continue to get lined in games, Jeff, that sit above double digits, 10.5. That means we're probably not looking at a 3-1 battle here where the pitchers are going to dominate. I think there's going to be some runs to be scored. And again, Jeff, that's a hitter's ballpark down there at Globe Life.
Globe Life, yeah, it is. You're right about that one. For me, if I had to look baseball, that would be the one I'd look at.
Yeah, next, I mean, a couple of interesting ones that we'll take a look at before we get over to the football card. You got Tanner Rourke, and Jimmy Nelson on the mound. 67% are going to back the Washington Nationals in this one. Over under at 9. Line opened up, Jeff, at 115 at Chris. Now sits at 144. Jimmy Nelson, man, give me some respect on that one. Only 33% of the public betting it, but that line's continually moving up there. He's a pretty good pitcher, and I would lean to believe that Milwaukee's going to go with their A lineup tonight and probably put some runs up on Roark here. I would like Milwaukee in this instance, and I agree with the line move here.
Yeah, I'll take your word for it. I didn't look much into it. Roark, Nelson, yeah. I mean, people don't like Nelson or Roark. They don't want to bet on him. I agree. I mean, when you can get the Nationals at this price, especially when if you're not facing, choose Jimmy Nelson. I mean,
he's been good though. He's been good. And I wonder about Washington if they're going to throw. I mean, they threw a decent lineup out there last night. Didn't come up, the way they wanted to. But Jimmy Nelson, I believe, is going to have a good game tonight. And I've never been a believer in Roark, especially on the road.
Yeah, but
we'll see what happens. But I agree with the line there.
At this price, though, it's hard to not bet the Nationals. I mean, I hear you. One other one, Kershaw makes his return tonight against San Diego, a team that he is absolutely destroyed in his career. Clayton Kershaw, if you want a guy that owned the team, in 31 starts, he has an ERA of 2 in his career against the Padres. Clayton Kershaw is a fucking competitor. He's a warrior. He's a guy that I would love to back off of a DL stint. He's not a guy he's just a Superman. That's what he is. Dodgers crush the Padres tonight. Crush them.
Yeah, well, here's another one. Hey, well, wait, the Dodgers got Kershaw back in the line. There's no way they lose again, do they? I mean, you've seen crazier things. The one thing I will
they're
not
not
back in
losing.
Major
They're
League
not
Baseball
losing.
is a guy coming back off the DL. I won't do it. Pitch
Yeah.
count, they're never going to release that information. So I don't want anything to do. If that line was minus 165, like, hell yeah, let's bet Kershaw, let's ride it out. But if you're going to talk about laying 255 on a game on the road with a guy coming back off of the DL, no shot.
Hey, listen, I'm not worried about laying 255. I'm laying 145 because the Dodgers, they went on the road. Padres stink. Kershaw owns them. Kershaw could be 80% and own them. But Donnie, anything else tonight?
No, I mean, it looks like a decent card out there overall betting wise. There's some games you can pick apart. I do like that Boston game with the New York Yankees. I know the line's a little bit high at 180. I'm not going to say take the Yankees at 180, but I've used this term quite a bit, Jeff. I think the Yankees have a get-right game here versus Doug Fister on offense. I think they could put up some runs here.
I hear you on that. And White Kevin again. People need to stop doing that. BMOC does not like Rutgers with the points. I've never said that. I said I like the over. Stop saying that. I did not ever say – I like Rutgers. I think they're improved. I don't like them to cover 27. I think the game will go over. That's what I said. Please don't do that because people see the show. They hear one thing, and then it's out. BMOC likes this. No, I like the over. Any input on Rutgers? Yes. We'll get to that. We'll also get to – someone asked about why no one's giving Georgia any respect. Why should we? I mean, what respect should we give them? App State
Georgia has the same MO every year, don't they?
Yeah, that's always how it is. I mean, they have a great defense, which they don't ever have, it seems like. They always have a quarterback this is going to be his year. They're always going to have big-time running backs. They're going to, fuck up the game, and they don't. It's just I'm just over it. I mean, I'm sick of Georgia. Look, could they win and cover this game? Sure. But Appalachian State is a really good G5 team, Donnie. I mean, really good. I mean, high-level quarterback, a very good run game, a really fantastic defense, a team that I said from the beginning I think would really give a good football team a run. And I think this is just too many points. A good point. Their head coaching has always been a problem. No, I'm not watching wearing a UGA shirt. I'm wearing a Gonzaga shirt. They don't have a football program, but Appalachian State does play with heart. I don't know if I'll bet this game. I know Georgia has Notre Dame on deck. That's something interesting as well. And Donnie, last year, App State gave Tennessee a bit of a scare. Remember that?
Yep, absolutely.
Same old team with Tennessee. Everyone's all high and mighty on Tennessee. Donnie, where do you want to start here?
Let's go right down the list. We'll keep it in the time fashion. We'll start with the 6 o'clock early game. We'll go right down the list to the 9:30 game. We'll see if we can have some fun with these. First up here, lower level type game, Fordham versus Army. Not a lot of tickets tracked in this one, but some of the tickets that are coming in have 59% backing the home team here, Army, and 90% of the money. Line opened up at Chris at 20.5, currently sits at 21. Pinnacle's at 21.5. Same thing with Bet Online at 21.5 as well. Jeff, Army Cadets coming out here early. Ready to take care of business against Fordham?
No, I love Fordham in this game, all over them. I bet them at 21.5. You can actually still get that line. It's widely available. You can get 21.5 at Bet Online, Bookmaker, not Bookmaker, 5-Dons, Pinnacle. Anywhere you look, you can get 21.5. No, Donnie, Fordham is a team that I'm high on. This is a upset special. I don't know if they'll win this game, but I really believe they're going to hang in this football game. I don't know if anyone knows, but a couple years ago, Fordham pulled off the upset against a bad Army team. And many will say, who cares? And you're right. But it's the fact that they can do it makes them believe that they could do it in this one. Fordham's not your typical FCS team. They're going to be in the top 20 all year. They're one of the better teams in their conference up there in Rose Hill, up in the Bronx, a nice campus in the middle of an urban jungle. They have a really efficient offense, Donnie. Last year, 4th in the country in total offense. They bring back everyone from last year. Kevin Anderson, their quarterback. Chase Edmonds, 1,800-yard rusher, 19 touchdowns. And look, people will look into Fordham and say, well, big man on campus, they don't have a great defense. You're right. They don't. It's not that good. But I have no reason to believe they're not going to be able to score points against an Army defense that's lost a little bit this year. Andrew Timp's gone. Andrew King's gone. 2 of their better linebackers and leaders last year on defense. Do I expect them to step up and kind of fill in for that? Sure. But I think this number is just too high. I think it should be 10 to 14. 21 is too high. Army's off the best season they've had in 20 years, Donnie. They beat Davie. They got to a bowl game and won one. Lot of pressure on this team. I don't know if they're a team that should be laying 21. I just think this is a bad spot for them against a Fordham team who is going to be very relevant in FCS this year. I like the 21.5. I'll take the points here with the Rams.
Next up on the dock, Jeff, 141, 142, 6:30 p.m. start Eastern time. Charlotte U versus Eastern Michigan, repping the MAC here. And it looks like the MAC's getting a lot of respect out of the public, Jeff. 82% are backing the Eastern Michigan Eagles in this one. 55% of the money is on that team. Chris opened up at 12.5, currently bet the 14. Pinnacle, 12.5, currently bet the 14. So a 2-touchdown favorite, Jeff. Eastern Michigan, not really used to being in this situation. How's it going to play out on this one here?
Yeah, I said this yesterday. I'll say it today. I don't really understand the reasoning on backing Eastern Michigan here. They're not a team I'm particularly interested in laying points with. Look, against a team where they're getting 14, they're getting 10, against a team, lower level D1 team, yeah, sure, I'll get involved with them. But I'm not particularly interested in laying points. Charlotte has a dual threat quarterback named Hassan Klug. He comes over from NCA&T. NCA&T, a dual threat school. They love to run with the quarterback and a really high-level offense. He comes over here to a team that is pretty excited. They have a good outlook. They haven't been very good, but they have a nice stadium, and they're kind of excited about the prospects of competing at some point. I just don't think Eastern Michigan should be laying 14 points. I don't know that I understand the move up. Will I bet this game? No. Do I have a feeling that Charlotte will cover? Yeah, I do. I don't think they're as bad as people might think. And I don't want to lay 14 with Eastern and Michigan.
All right, next up on the docket, Jeff, Central Connecticut's going to travel to Syracuse. Line opened up at 46.5 at Pinnacle, Jeff. Currently sitting at 48. BetOnline also mirrors them with minus 48. We all know we want to take that second look. Dino Babers getting that offense going. I don't really know much about Central Connecticut and how they can play, but just seeing Syracuse over the past year or so, they're going to need to win this game by 50 points. I know they run fast. I know they might have a athletic advantage over Central Connecticut, but a 50-point advantage here?
Here's all you need to know when you're laying 45 or more. The one question you have to ask yourself is, do I believe that the team getting 48 or 50, do I believe they can score one touchdown in this game? Because if they can do that, they're probably going to cover. Syracuse, can they score points? Sure they can. But they can't stop anybody. But I will point out, Central Connecticut State finished last in the Northeastern Conference last year. They do return 18 starters, which is interesting. And they have a kid, Donnie, named Joey Fields. He's a wide receiver, really good player. A kid, if he can get the football in his hands, can do some good things. They have a quarterback in Jake Dolagala who averaged 267 last year. He wasn't a bad quarterback. But, again, they have problems stopping anyone. If you can get a total on this game, I see if I can find one here, I would think it'd be right around 60. Yeah, 60. I got to tell you, I would lean over. I do think Syracuse will give up a touchdown or 10 points here.
Is that really the total in that game? A 48-point line with a 60 total?
Yeah, a 60 at 5 times. I could honestly see a 54-10 type of game. I think they can score. I really do. I think they'll score one time. Kind of reminds me of Florida A&M. That's the only thing I'll tell you about big numbers, and I bet them a lot against them and on them. If you can score one touchdown, you're going to have an opportunity to cover that game. So,
Jeff, smart move, though, to tease them up from 48 to, let's just say, 55.
No. I would do the other way if I had to.
By the way, bring up a point on that, Jeff, on that Syracuse-Connecticut game. Let's just say it was 48 and 60. If you remember correctly last year, Kent State traveled down to play Alabama, Jeff, in one of those weird games where the spread was like 47.5, but the over-under was like 51, basically saying, like, we think they're going to win the game like 50-0. Really weird, but every once in a while those games line up like that. That's just funny to see where a team's favored by 50 and literally has like a touchdown difference to let the other team score. So
yeah, it's really about, do you think, like last night with Wake, I mean, look, Wake is not going to ever beat anyone like they did last night, but some of these teams just can't score. Like some of these teams are lost. A team like Central Connecticut, especially against Syracuse, I would not be surprised to see them score some points in this game. Are they going to score 25? No. But if they could score just one time, 7 points, 10 points, I think this game will get up and over because Syracuse will they'll light it up. Dino Babers doesn't take his foot off the gas. Look, they could get 60 themselves, honestly. I mean, Central Connecticut State's not going to offer any sort of and this is up in Syracuse as well. That dome, I
would be like 15,000 people in there for that one.
Yeah, I'm just saying from a field perspective, this one should be lit up. I would say 54-10, 61-7. This one should go over.
Next up here on the docket, Jeff, 143-144, Washington and Rutgers. A lot of misconception out there, Jeff, with everybody believing that you love Rutgers in this one. Line opened up at 58.5, bet down to 53 on the total. Also opening up at Chris minus 31, Jeff, down 4 points to 27 in this situation. Washington and Rutgers, not a lot of love from Rutgers. I mean, Rutgers overall as a university considers himself like the Harvard of New Jersey. They got into the Big Ten. They're completely overmatched, probably every single sport they take the field in. What do you see from this one? I mean, Rutgers, everybody feels good on opening day. It's a home opener. Washington, after all their success last year, we'll see if they can repeat and do a few things there. I don't look for much out of Rutgers here from a personal perspective.
Yeah, I took over 52.5. It's up to 53, and I'm okay with 53 also. I really was surprised to see this game bet down. I thought this one would, at 58.5 at open, I thought it would go up. I thought this game would be closer to 60. 53, I think, is an interesting bargain.
No weather either, Jeff. I mean, looking outside, it's beautiful in New Jersey today. So
yeah, it's really nice. It's good temperature, a little crisp. Yeah, I like that. I like over. I've said it before. I'll say it again. This is another game when you say to yourself, Washington's going to score the majority of the points here. Will we be surprised if they score, 42-50 here? No, not at all. Perfect, Donnie. Montenegro gets the job done. Over comes in. First soccer winner of the day. A plus 240 price. How about that, Donnie, right side? I love it. Love World Cup qualifiers. Nothing better than watching Montenegro beat Kazakhstan. I love it. My energy is up today. Donnie, 52.5. Yeah. Can they score Rutgers? I think they can. We talked about Kill earlier. I think he's going to have a little bit of a wimp in this game. I think he's going to be prepared. I think he's going to be a guy that – are they going to score 30 points? No, but I think they're good for 17. We have to point out, Washington, I don't know that the turnover is not going to affect them. Even against Rutgers, you got to travel across the country. You're laying a big number. You lost your whole secondary last year. Your starter on defense, your captain, Azim Victor's out. I like them to score some points in this game. I disagree. Rutgers has a very good fan base. I don't think you've been there. They have a very solid fan base, Donnie right side. They don't win a lot, but those kids show up. Rutgers is a cool and fun school. Full of plenty of Guidos and New Jerseyans. You would agree, Don. They have a pretty good home atmosphere, I think.
When they're good. I just typed it out there. I remember back in the mid-2000s when Schiano was running the show, Ray Rice in the backfield, Leonard, the fullback. Sure, they had to, who was that? Kenny Britt was at wide receiver. Yeah. Underwood. They were a fantastic football program, and they rolled. I mean, you remember those Kenny Slayton was it Slayton that came out of West Virginia? Who was the other running back? I mean, those guys used to come into 2 or 3 years in the Rutgers, and that place was lights out. Brom of Louisville, back when I believe Petrino was still there. I mean, that place was on fire, and Rutgers was a really good football program. Long distance from that at this point, but
I got to tell you, I think Friday night, school's in session. It's September finally. A ranked opponent, good football team coming in. I think it's going to be a nice little atmosphere there. I really think, again, they're not going to win this game. I don't know if they'll cover. I like the over. They run up tempo. Washington's going to have no problem scoring in this game. I think this is like a 45-17 type of game. You shouldn't see a low-scoring game. I'd be surprised at this. If Rutgers doesn't score here, it's concerning to me because the first game, they should be able to have some success against a defense that lost a lot last year, and they have a new offensive coordinator. Kill should get Janarian Grant involved. Look for him to have a big game. I'll go over Donnie right now.
Yeah, I remember back in the day, somebody's bringing up that Thursday night football game. I don't know if I'm getting my games confused, but I believe one of those games where the kicker, who they called Judge Ito, kicked a field goal, a short field goal to win it, and with cameras over the field, literally came up like in his face. But yeah, Rutgers, it would be nice because, it's another local football team, the same way Jeff and I root for Temple. If Rutgers having a big year, sure, you're going to climb on because it's in your backyard, so to speak. I thought it was a disastrous move, though, for Rutgers to go to the Big Ten, because to think they can compete, I know it's a money grab. I know they want to try to get the New York market, the Big Ten. I think it was awful for Rutgers overall as a whole, but then again, money rules the world these days. So,
sure. You guys going to do best bet on college football like you do guys during Brick City Matthew? I think we give out plenty of games here, buddy. But yeah,
give out your premium plays. Damn it!
I'll surely give out my best bet that's not a premium play. And guys, again, I've shared plenty of premium plays. No problem doing it. I'm here to help. I'm here to be the college football guy. And I am the king of small
games this week. Florida Atlantic, 145, 146. Jeff, 42% are actually backing the home team here, Florida Atlantic. Some good line movement, but it looks like it's actually coming up a bit, Jeff. Pinnacle now showing -10, +100 when that game was around, I believe, 8.5 to 9.5 at one point. Chris still sitting at 9.5. But let's not forget, this game opened up 14.5, 13.5, 14.5 across the board, depending on where you were shopping at. And I know, Jeff, you're a big backer of Navy Athletics here, especially, obviously, the football team, the way they can come out and play. But we've all seen it before, that team that gets a little bit too much hype in the preseason. Wait, they got Lane Kiffin? Holy cow, look at all the recruits in there. Navy's coming in with a little bit of team that's a little bit down. What gives here, Jeff?
Yeah, look, I think a lot of people are looking at, they're doing some research on Navy, and they're finding that, their offensive coordinator is having some medical problems right now, and he's not going to be there. But look, I mean, they're well coached down there. Ken Niumatalolo will have this team prepared. When you back Navy, Donnie, I don't ever think it's a bad bet. When I lose on Navy, which is very rare, they don't not cover a lot. I don't want to say that you should be hesitant with Navy. If they lose, I think you could say to yourself, I made a good bet. They're not a team that you feel bad betting on. They're just so disciplined. They cover. They've covered 17 of 26 over the last 3 years. They've been very profitable. And they have guys they can just plug in. They've had a ton of different quarterbacks over the last season or so. I mean, Keenan Reynolds, Will Worth, Zach Abbey. I mean, they've had so many guys who just plug right in. Abbey's had the whole summer off season to understand this offense. They bring back 7 of 8 top tacklers on defense. I think that's one place they're really going to improve this year. They had some trouble at times getting stops last year. They bring back a lot of guys in that defense. I think nightmarishly, people are not looking at Florida Atlantic. They're looking at too much on the offensive side, when the big problem in this football game is, can they even do anything to stop the rush? I don't think they're going to. I think they get pounded in this game. And I know Navy's not great in openers with Niumatalolo at the helm, but I think Florida Atlantic has way too many off-the-field problems right now, too much hoopla. I think this one's like 44-24, something like that. I think Navy continues to roll. I mean, Don, remember last year how they were just putting up points?
Yeah, no, it didn't matter. It didn't matter. First string, second string, third quarter, fourth quarter, late in the game. They could bust it at any time. You're right.
We have a question here. Dmitry Kumutov. Love the show. I have a question. With all these sports playing now, what would you say is the percentage of bankroll you should be risking on average? Listen, man, it really depends on how much money you have. You should, have your bankroll, whatever that is. And I don't know. I mean, Donnie, what would you say? I mean, let's say if you have a 10K bankroll, I think you should be betting $100 a play, I would say.
Yeah, I mean, again, the theory of sports gamblers making mints and, just going up. And can you imagine, Jeff, say, hey, man, I got a $50,000 bankroll. I'm just going to lay like $10,000, $20,000 down a game. Good luck. You'll probably be done by week 3, and then you'll be back to like your 9-to-5 job somewhere. The theory of betting continuously and just living off it is hilarious.
Here's why I don't really put a lot of percentage into percentage of bankroll. I don't have a ton of plays as it is. I don't. When I go to work and I put, let's say, 10 plays a weekend, let's see, even if I lose 10 of them, I lose 10% of the bank. I'm not going to get crushed there. I just don't really bet a lot of games. So for me, I don't really see that I have to worry about that. I would say you have to come up with your unit structure. I only bet 1 unit plays. So for me, it's the same amount every game. But again, that's your thing.
Joe Gavazzi says no more than 20% of your bankroll.
Joe Gavazzi, I don't know who told him that. Cheetah Leggins, did she tell him to say that?
I don't know.
It was cool to talk to Teddy Covers. He's very knowledgeable. Good. Awesome. Yes, Teddy knows what he's talking about with certain things. Good call. Florida Atlantic. Florida International has great facilities. Boca Raton is loaded. We'll see if he can lead. Yeah, dude. I mean, Boca Raton doesn't come across as a football hotbed to me.
Yeah, by the way, we flying down to the IFBC. We flew right over FAU Stadium, so there we got a good look at it.
Nice. Yeah, I think Kiffin's in over his head here early on, but we'll see tonight. It'll be definitely a game that I'm looking at. Two more, Donnie, right there. Let's get them.
Colorado State, Colorado, Jeff, 151, 152. 53% of the public betting on Colorado at home here, but that line has plummeted from 7 down to 3.5. Pinnacle actually opened at 8. They're down to 3.5. Same thing with Bet Online at 8.5 down to 3.5. I know a lot of people like to bet with their eyes, Jeff. You know, we know, first of all, we know Colorado's a good football team in a Power 5 conference, played very well last year, bringing back a lot of offensive starters. We get that. But a lot of people can't shake the fact that they watch Colorado State move the ball up and down the field, a good football team. Hey, why don't we take this team? Now, if you're asking me directly, I think Colorado State is a very, very good football team. But are the eyes deceiving right now, or is that line movement for real, Jeff?
Yeah, people love Colorado State. I mean, they saw that week 1 performance, and they're buying in. They're reading the headlines. They're seeing that, you know, here's the problem that you're going to have in this game. And look, I'll be real. Like I've said, I had locked Colorado State in at plus 210 when they were like 5 or 6 point underdogs, and I took a shot on the money line. Listen, Colorado's not going to have any problem scoring in this game. That's the one thing. Can they win a shootout? Can they be right there, and can they keep it 38-35? Can they stay within 3 points? Can they stay within that touchdown to cover maybe a win a game late? Colorado's not going to have any problem scoring here. I would say at this point, you should have bet the over when I told you at 66. It's up to
that game again. We brought out there, Jeff. Neutral site game. I believe it's played where the it's not called. Is it called Safeco anymore? They changed it to Sports Authority. What the hell is it now?
Sports Authority Field, I believe.
Sports Authority Field. Still, even though they went bankrupt, still there.
I believe so.
Exactly. We'll just call it the same thing. Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, someone out there might have to update us. But yeah, I think at this point you got to just kind of put your head together and say, why doesn't this game go over? I mean, both these teams are going to score. I don't think either defense is going to really do much in the way of stopping anyone. We have to remember, for anyone that doesn't know, Colorado's defensive coordinator, Jim Leavitt's gone. They lost 8 starters on defense, including their top 2 cornerbacks. Donnie, they're starting 2 freshman quarterbacks. That's never good, especially for a Nick Stevens offense that really has a ton of weapons. At 66, I like it. At 69.5, I like it. I think this game gets into the 70s. But again, I have a money line ticket on plus 210. At 151, clearly it's not a good number. I know a couple people on Twitter, Donnie, that I follow that have been in the game for a lot of years. They got this at 7. Great number there. Betting this before the game on Saturday. Yeah, I like over the total in this game.
Yep, 2 games actually left, Jeff. Utah State, Wisconsin opening up 67%, backing Wisconsin here with the line. Movement down a little bit, though. Chris opened up at 29, down to 27.5. Pinnacle opened up at 28.5, now down to 27.5. So obviously that key threshold, 28, looks to be a big number that people are trying to hit and stay below that number or stay ahead of that number, depending on which side you're going to be betting this football team. Interesting to see how Utah State rebounds this year. Had a lot of injuries last year. Wisconsin, we know they're going to be able to run the football, Jeff. We know they're going to line up 6'5" across the line on the offensive line and try to bully a smaller Utah State team around. The question we're going to have here is, can Utah State hang around in this one long enough to keep it within that line? Because if they're going to get down, Jeff, and they're going to get down 2-3 touchdowns right off the bat in the first half, this game might be a runaway here. Doesn't matter if that line even crossed that threshold of 28.
Yeah, I think Utah State over the course of the year will be a decent football team, but I think in this game they're in trouble. Wisconsin is really good, and they're really good at Camp Randall. Hornibrook was pretty good last year as a freshman. He's got a whole season, all season to kind of mature and kind of take advantage of that offense. They have a really good running back coming in. They've had some good running backs in the past, Donnie. Ron Dane, Melvin Gordon, Corey Clement. Add Broderick Shaw's name to the list. He's going to be very good for this team. They have a good group of receivers. Fumagalli, the tight end. I don't think they have any problem scoring points tonight. I think they will do well against this Utah State up-tempo offense that they're running now. The up-tempo offense, listen, here's the thing. Look at Tulsa last night, Donnie. If they don't get some wacky things to go their way, they had trouble moving the football. They couldn't throw the ball. Their quarterback struggled. I think that's similar tonight. We'll see from Utah State. I just don't think they're going to have a lot of success moving the football. It's tough to move the ball in Wisconsin. I got to tell you, I think this game's like a 34-7 type of game, honestly. I really don't think Utah State will do much of anything offensively in this game. But this will be interesting to see how Wisconsin plays first game out of the gate against an offense that is going to be up-tempo.
Next up, Jeff, and finally last up here of the game I'm most interested tonight, 149-150, BC versus NIU. Best part about this game, Jeff, starts at 9:30 Eastern time. We'll be on the final episode as we know it. Yeah. For the late night on campus, we can watch this and go out together. I might even continue to rock the Mac shirt tonight to show my respect. 32%, Jeff, backing the home team here, NIU. Line opened up at 1.5 at Chris, now up to -4 at Chris. 2.5 at Pinnacle, up to 3.5. Bet online opened up at -2, up to 3.5. So some line movement. Obviously, the public betting BC at 68% with the tickets, 79% of the money. Line moving up. But however, Jeff, totals dropping a little bit. Opened up at Chris at 51, down to 47. If we take a look at Pinnacle, opened up at 46. That one actually increased a little bit to 47.5. So you're going to get a number below 50, which in college football, not really the norm to be below 50 on a total.
Donnie, before we get into this breakdown, I just want to tout my own horn a little bit here. We talk about Army. I tell you to take Fordham. That line's down to 19.5. I got 21.5. How the fuck do you feel? I got CLV, motherfuckers. And I'm going to be happy if that one stays. If they win 41-20, I'm going to feel happy as fuck, Donnie. I don't know if we all went and bet Fordham, but we moved the line, motherfuckers. No, I'm just kidding. I don't think we moved anything. But again, I got a good number there, so I'll be happy about that. We'll see where that goes. But yeah, in this game, I want to reference back to Joe Duffy a little bit. Joe Duffy, back a while ago, we were talking about college football, and he was mentioning to me about teams that he thought the markets total-wise would be kind of overreacting on. And you see a lot of people looking at this game saying this is going to be a low-scoring football game, and you're getting 47 on a total here, a very low number in college football. Boston College is going to a little bit of a more up-tempo attack. Anthony Brown, Darius Wade, whoever the quarterback is, they're both dual-threat quarterbacks. I don't think this is going to be the same old ground and pound, win a 20-17 game if you're Boston College. I think whoever quarterbacks for Northern Illinois will have a decent game. I think they're going to be able to put up some points here. I think at 47 at this number, you might have some value in taking it over here. Do I want to bet under? If you bet at the under, the boat went far away. That boat's gone. 47, you might have some value taking it over here. You don't need a lot of points to hit over 47, Donnie. And two kind of guys that'll run with the football as quarterbacks. Wouldn't be surprised to see this one sneak up over the total. I like some of the position players that Northern Illinois has. Jordan Huff in the backfield, BB at receiver. Wouldn't be surprised if this one's like, 28-24 or something, and this one just gets up and over the total.
Yeah, no, one would tend to agree with that. I mean, again, you're looking at a MAC team. This isn't – I know BC slows it down like to run the football, but again, it's opening day, so you might have a flair to their offense, maybe a new wrinkle that you haven't seen. Northern Illinois not known for a staunch defense, at least over the past couple of years. You take it back maybe what, Jeff, 3-4 years ago, they had probably the best defense in the MAC overall. That no longer the case. Rod Carey is obviously on the hot seat in this one. I think he opens up the offense. We'll see some turnovers in this one. You're right. If you're just looking on layman's terms, Jeff, the line is going to be 46, or if it's somewhere in that range right now, there's value in there taking over. If the game ends up 23-10, so be it. But anything in the 40s in college football, that's like in baseball, a 6.5. Sometimes you just got to take a flyer on it.
And I'll tell you this, from public perception of Boston College, I wouldn't be surprised if this one goes down even more. People like Boston College unders. If you don't do your homework, you're going to look at this game and say, this game's going to be 23-13. They're not the same ground and pound defensive stalwart. If this one will probably go down, I think, even more. You might have to get a really good number in this game. I'm going to wait on it. I'm going to try to get 45.5, 46 or something. Hopefully, or maybe 47 is just a good number and it goes back up. But yeah, I think there's some value, and this is why you love college football. You really just get into the teeth. Navy's down to 9.5. I think that's a great number. If you get right now, bet Navy at 9.5, Kissick at night. Don't worry about it. 10.5. Not the best number. 9.5 is the best of it. I think that's the best number you were going to get on Navy. If you like Navy, bet it now. I think it's got to be bet now, Donnie. Don't wait any longer. Don't want that to get back up to 10.5. I don't know that it's going to matter, but it's all about getting the best of it a lot of the time. I do believe that's probably the best number you're going to get on this game. Overall,
by the way, tomorrow, Jeff, monster slate of college football games. Jeff will be on the Saturday. What do you guys? It's the closing line, correct? College football edition tomorrow.
The college football closing line show. We're going to be live at 10:30. Peter Loshek and I.
Early one, okay.
Or no, not 10:30. What time are we on tomorrow? Yeah, 10:30.
Is it 11 to 12? I thought. No,
10:30, I believe.
Oh, there we go.
We'll be on tomorrow, so look out for that. We have not talked about the Saturday card at all, really, me or Peter. So look out for that tomorrow. Looking forward to it. Just to confirm, kind of what I'm looking at tonight. Some of my leans and likes. I like Washington and Rutgers over 52.5. I like Navy minus 9.5. I like Colorado and Colorado State. Look, sorry about these numbers, but this is where I got them. I got money line plus 210. I have over 66.5, but I do like over 69.5 as well. I like Wisconsin minus 27. And I also like Fordham plus 21.5, which I already bet. And I also have a lean to be over 47, which I'm going to wait on. Hopefully goes down. So Drew Youngston, make sure you write every motherfucking bet down because I'm sure you'll bitch at me tomorrow about it. Donnie, someone asked if we could go over our shows on what we're doing. Yes, Donnie and I will be on every day at 12:30 Eastern. Other than Wednesday, we'll be on the roundtable at 12:30, but we'll be on every day at 12:30 from here on out. The Late Night on Campus, as Donnie said, tonight's going to be the last show.
We'll be drinking the no time restraints, Jeff, tonight on the Late Night on Campus.
No, we're going to be wide open.
Jeff, we might even be live right through that NIU game closes. Why don't we do that?
Yeah,
why don't we do that?
I'm in. I'm all in.
Yep, there we go.
And again,
4 hours tonight.
I do want to mention this is not the end for the show. I'm hoping we come back with basketball. But for right now, tonight will be the last episode of the Late Night on Campus for a little bit. So that next week will be gone. But going forward, 12:30 every day, Donnie and I. Donnie will be on Sunday, I believe, at what time, Donnie? 12 o'clock?
I believe it's going to be probably like 12 to 12:45, maybe run right up through kickoff for NFL Sunday. Be me and Gabe Morency. Also coming back at the halftime of the 1 o'clock games to give our thoughts on the first half, maybe some second half wagers and preview those 4 o'clock games real quickly coming up. Then Jeff and I will be on before the Sunday night football game for a half-hour time slot, and we'll go over the night's game, review what happened in NFL action. So a lot to happen. Also, what we're starting up, a lot of people have been asking throughout the weeks and months, we get hit up a lot behind the scenes on Twitter. What did you guys like today? I missed the show. Keep in mind, starting on Monday, Jeff and I are going to start doing some videos out that are going to preview those nights' games, maybe a free pick or two to give away and just shoot those out. So we're going to be busy. You're going to see our faces a lot, but a lot of people have been asking for those videos from me and Jeff. Not a long one like we do a podcast. We go over everything, like a 2-3 minute video on that night's game, some picks, some, leans on which way we're looking at, maybe some information that can help you bet those games. So a lot of fun stuff happening at SBR for us. We're looking forward to it for the fall.
Yeah, I agree. It should be fun. I did have one other comment I wanted to bring up here. Someone asking about, Jeff, is Germany -1 price too good to be true? I got it at 130 early in the week, and it hasn't gone up much. Yeah, it's an interesting price, isn't it? I get 1.5 at plus 105. Listen, I really, Donnie, believe Germany is the best team in the world. This team is really unbelievable. What I love about them is they just score goals. They just pound teams into submission. They put up 8-9 goals. They don't care. I don't know if they'll do that today, but I think this is a 3-0 type of game. I don't see any reason to think. If you got -1, absolutely beautiful bet. At worst you push, but yeah, I'm all in on them -1.5. And if you want any of my other soccer plays, feel free to jump on over on Twitter. I'm about even in the season right now. We're only 3 weeks in. But World Cup qualifiers are really my favorite thing to bet on other than Premier League. So I'll be back again later today with Natalie Rodsham and those guys going over day 4 of World Cup qualifiers. So, Donnie, look out for that. And you can catch me on all the soccer stuff as well. Everyone have a great day. We'll be back tonight at 10 o'clock Eastern. Join us, please, for the last show for a while of the Late Night on Campus. I'd look forward. We'd like to take some calls. I will have a list of people that I'd like to thank and say hello to. It'll be fun. It's like an award show, Donnie. I'm going to come up with some good moments that we've had on the show, and it should be fun. Do you want to do, Donnie, a little baffle the big man maybe? We can do that.
We can do it, Ivan. I'm going to be having a few cocktails during the show. We're going to come on at 10 o'clock. We'll probably run it right through midnight.
Yeah.
just to have some fun as a final
Here's
kick.
what-
I mean, where the hell do we got to go? You know what I mean? We'll have a drink, we'll stay home,
And
we'll relax.
Here's what I want you guys to do. Join us tonight. If you have a question, a general trivia or geography, any kind of question, send it in. We'll have some fun with trying to baffle me. We'll bring that back, and yeah, we'll just chill. I'll be down the shore. Donnie will be doing his thing.
I'll let my wife host the show for a half hour with Jeff. I mean, hey, it's going to go a little bit off the rails tonight.
Hey, I mean, I'm down for whatever, Donnie. It will be fun. So join us tonight, 10 o'clock for that. Everyone have a great day. We'll see you later. Bye-bye.